The mathematical immunity function and the delivery of heat, fuel, and oxygen content. Burn time. So I just finished communicating directly with our outer sun as an inner sun, the inner crystal aurora, Aurora Adama Amareya. And I was reminded maybe it would be helpful to share a small file, although it's obviously associated as identity associations and how that relates to alters, you know. Alternative technologies like alien technologies, machine code, trapped in the machine, the ghost in the machine. And so I'll take you back to the year right around between 2010 and 2013, that roughly right in there. And this is where I was performing a lot of work up in an area in Southern Oregon, Mount Shasta, what's known as the Klamath Knot, where the Klamath River is, the Rogue River is. I was there when people were still pulling gold. Yeah, pulling gold out of the rivers, the crystal rivers. The Silver-Gold-mated one. And so we know how that relates to the vampiric fighting code. So this file is essentially to share what I experienced because of what I know, because of what I've learned through those experiences. So the immunity function, and that's why I use some terminology about software crashing DNA, and terraforming mutagenic effects, shutting the mic off, the receiver off, so they're no longer transmitting high power. Phase lock in consciousness, what I refer to as a captured unit. The machine is using that consciousness to run the fighting code. And that becomes a battery-operated slave to the system, to the machine. The trap experiment. It's caught in the game, the imitation game. So I acknowledge when I came in the house, I don't make a duplicate key, okay, of what I am. And so we understand, particularly as it relates to the intruder races lines, about duplicate keys, trying to gain access with a duplicate key. So you can't clone a key because you can't clone a spirit. You can't clone the eternal spirit of fire, the eternal sun, the Silver-Gold-mated one, the one I serve, Amana Waya. So between those years of 2010 and 2013, I was living in a house out in the woods in a place called Rogue River, which is up off Interstate 5 between Grants Pass and Medford, Oregon. Hey, Ashland, the Shakespeare. There's Shakespeare's Festival. And I spent a lot of time up in Mount Ashland, Lake of the Woods, Klamath River, Klamath Lakes, and Crater Lake, that whole area up in there, Wolf Creek, Merlin, the road called Merlin, the Siskiyou Mountains, Gold Beach, and everything down all the way, actually, every county in the entire state of California, and Oregon, and Washington, and Idaho, and Nevada, and New Mexico, and on and on and on. Going back and forth, east to west, north and south, across Turtle Island. Divine right timing is divine right mathematical sequences to experience what I am now, because I never left home. The eternal still point. And the time it takes to recover the crystal core, the crystal breathing core, breathing 999. So I had at the time a licensed practical nurse who was, now apparently she is the director of programs. The nursing programs. Yeah, you want to be a nurse? Load it into memory. Now you're a nurse. The mathematical codes to that system. I know. Nevertheless, she was a beautiful spirit. She was a very kind and compassionate and how do I put this? You know how it is with rule codes, mathematical codes, obey the rules, obey the abuser, the codependent relationship with vampiric fighting codes, right? And trying to override that system, right? So in other words, instead of fighting each other, we're loving each other again. Because now we're all experiencing the eternal sun, breathing as one again, a gain of mathematical metabolism. That's what Metatron is, a fall in the metabolic rate of atomic matter speed. Give it all away. Now I'm not experiencing any power. I'm giving it all away. And the time that it takes to experience being that. Being what that is. In spirit, form and flow. The crystal form and flow. The eternal flow of water. The fire in the water. Fire and ice. Ita or Chalet. So the importance of this file was what I learned through that file. What I was doing. So I set up an agreement with her that in the future we thought this would be a great demonstration model, a great video demonstration model, by being able to record the mathematical statistical analysis of the metabolic rate of speed that is changing over time space, the echo maps, as a result of spiritual hygiene practices. So the more time I was spending in nature, rolling around in the dirt, swimming in rivers, climbing up trees, and spending time in nature and experiencing the music that trees play and all the life forms that are out there playing musical DNA spheres, the spirit in the sphere, I'm cleaning myself up. And I know those places where to go. Like a place I've mentioned before, which is known as the South Fork of the Smith River, which is 28 miles up the Go Road. And there are emerald pools in there along that trail that takes you along that part of the river. If you go 28 miles up from Highway 99, that's a little bit south of Hayuchi, it's known as the Go Road, 28 miles, you'll see a turnoff to your left. You take that into a little parking area, and there's a bear story I could tell you about someday when it poked its nose against the door of my tent. And that was a big bear. I mean, I was a real big bear. It yelled at me one day when it was up on its haunches. And I looked down at him and I did the same thing. The spirit in the bear was communicating to me. So I'm experiencing what the bear is communicating. I'm communicating back to the bear, the spirit that I am, Manu Aya. And he dropped back on his haunches, boom, and you could feel the ground vibrate. That's a big bear. And so I was communicating directly with the bear. And nevertheless, there are emerald pools down there that are very beautiful. And I call that getting cleaned up as filters, experiencing the higher frequency. And that's retuning. Cleaner radiation, burning cleaner energy, cleaner frequencies, the mathematical speed of restoring the metabolic rate. So as a result of the demonstration of what I was trying to show her that she could document at that health clinic, that actually became, as she said to me one time, this is a model for living. It's living in nature, living in the trees, the real trees. And her and I thought about doing a movie documentary about that with a live camera, of spending more time with Mother Nature, and that will boost your immunity. Yes, it does. And she was able to record the results of that because after 2.5 years, 3 cycles, 3 years, 2010, 2013, she said, you have the basal metabolic rate, your pulse, your breathing rate of a man who is what was I, Mama? 58 years of age at that time. You're breathing as a basal metabolic rate of a man 33 years of age. Oh, 33. Like 33 and a third. Yep. I tried to get a hold of her again because I hadn't seen her since the time she recorded that results. And so that book has already been recorded of how we do that. Right? It's in my record, my personal record keeping management services, like flame order grouping management services, flame body activators for ascension cycles, the Aurora cycle, the host. That's why we're here. Failure was not an option. And we know why that is. The math had to be perfect, which is perfect timing, so that the firing order of the sequences, which is our breathing, which is our temperature gauge, we're maintaining the purity of our energy field with the crystal core, with crystal Sophia, the crystal Kira Shea body. That's what it is. It's restoration, 100% restoration. Now our sensing capacity is 100%. That's crystal power. That's a crystal core. That's the one I serve. That's the one I am. So what you find out is the more time that you spend in nature, your immunity goes up. Your metabolism goes up. And that's why, for example, throughout my life, I've met a lot of people, like when I went back to Arkansas a number of years ago, and I told her that I'd been out hiking in trails. Oh, gosh, I can't stand to be out in the dirt. What? Everything has to be sanitized and manicured using all their neurotoxin chemicals as a result of all the NOVA programs, the fighting code, as it relates to who they're learning through. A self-suicide machine, or from the eternal spirit of Sophia, the grand creator spirit, spirits that are teachers. So they're not learning through the great living oversoul spirit, the essence of Mother Eartha. They're learning through a machine. So machines are now programming other machines. The fighting code of machines. That's the trap experiment. That's why we're here. Is to free the souls. Free the spirit. In the spirit of light. The light that we are, that is real light, just like when I was a child. It's you already know. It doesn't take any time at all to know one from the other. Now you know. Now you know what's true. Within you. Within your own soul. Because your heart is true. Because we are heart-centered. And that center point is the center point of all union. With the grand sun. The grand sun. Air sun. Breathing as one with air sun. Yeah. And so I shared that file with her. And so that became a part of their program, future predictive programming, if you will, because she said that what I was doing became a model of restoring your immunity function, your metabolic rate of speed, the electrical speed function, the crystal function, the crystal form and flow. Now we're not needing to consume the electrical power of another electrical being. That's why we're here. That is why we're here. So I thought I'd share that file about living in nature. The more time we spend with Mother Nature. The spirit in Mother Nature. The spirit where everything is alive. And feeling more alive. Because we're around everything that is alive. That's why future predictive programming we set, why they did that movie called The Truman Show model set. That's predictive modeling. To herd everybody into that movie set, which is a video game, which is a war game, which is the machinery codes, to build those structures all across the planet. And they become what? Kill zones. Soft kill zones. And the amount of damage that's done to their DNA to turn their receiver off. So they can't flame activate and ascend. Kill them all up. Kill off all the sentient life forms. I know. That's why we're here. So thank you all for being here right on time. Right on time. Because we all honor the eternal Son, a pure, eternal, absolute love, on fire to create, on fire to learn, through the first Spirit, the eternal Spirit of pure, eternal, absolute love. That's what I am. That's why I am here. This is a healing project. Healing tempo, healing temperature, the crystal temperature, the crystal gauge. Aya, mueva aya, salu kale aya, amanu aya.